All right.
Hey, there's my hand.
It is the
I
Illini
gotta share it on
basketball
Facebook.
podcast. Yeah, you gotta get make sure the people are involved. It's the Illini basketball podcast, episode number 124. You're live from Vegas. I'm live from an hour and 30 minutes away from Champaign in my basement. And Illinois, UCLA last night, a big win for the Illini. I'm going to pull up Steve's comment here. He commented like 30 minutes ago, but he's still here. Hey, guys, if we beat Virginia tomorrow, we should come in with a top 10 ranking along with Michigan State. Big Ten is really down this year. I mean, hey, I will say I don't think there's any way Illinois doesn't move up in the rankings.
Right.
Even despite the result tomorrow. If they win tomorrow, I could see them being in that 11, 10, 11 range, maybe 9, dare I say 8. But I don't know how how the people who vote for that are pretty stupid. So,
Yeah. And I think that, I don't know if Steve's taking the shots at us or, everybody in media that said the Big Ten was down. Because I think a lot of people thought they were down, including ourselves. So,
yeah,
it's nice to see they're not. I'm not complaining.
I think it's down in terms of individual talent, but I think teams are better, more equipped for March for sure. Gary says that the Illini have all the pieces that they should go deep. I would agree. I think
they definitely do. Brad, I think we've talked about it before. Brad finally has a team that Brad likes. You don't pass on a guy like Kofi, but this is the team Brad can do things with.
Steve also said, dare I say, the Illini have the best player in the country in their team. I mean, hey, if Terrence Shannon Jr. stays healthy, he wasn't healthy last year.
If he plays like this, I mean,
yeah.
He was unconscious from three.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that with somebody wearing this uniform. I'll say that.
And it wasn't like, I mean, he was just pulling up shooting. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, hey guys, get on my back. I'm gonna take us to the finish line. Is what it felt like, and he did that.
Well, there's moments there where you can see how his offensive game has definitely improved from when he was at Texas Tech. Obviously, coming over to Illinois, they actually want to play offense. I don't think that's something that Texas Tech really does.
Right.
And he can go to his right hand now too. Like teams would try to take away his left hand. He can go to his right as well. And he's so fast to the basket. And that play, I don't know, maybe the 7-3 of the game that he hit, where he's just standing in the corner by the bench talking to Brad and nobody's over there, and they just hit him in the corner and he drills a 3. I mean, he literally – and these weren't like hitting the rim then going in. They were straight in every single time.
It was just cash money every time. It was crazy. So
he certainly responded to Meacham and Hummel talking about if he could do this against a better
Absolutely.
opponent. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, 29 and 10, 9 for 12 from the field, 8 for 9 from 3. I mean, I think that'll work.
Yeah, nice little double-double.
He's the pog for both of us. I mean, sometimes you want to go different, but I think it has to be him. I mean, the only other guy is the guy that sparked the team, but I don't think his numbers justify that.
Like I said, before we started this, like I said, I thought Sincere was a huge part of getting this team going. At halftime, I walked down and talked to Havrilka, one of my buddies that's out here, and I said, Sincere hasn't played, which is shocking, and Illinois is not pressing. And Sincere came in, they started pressing, and I think they had like 2-3 turnovers on that press to start out.
Right away,
So that really got the team going.
Crypto said that game was so much fun to watch. I agree, even though there were some moments, man. I was surprised I didn't get the cops called on me last night. I was yelling at Coleman Hawkins in the first half, almost lost my voice. That's the first sporting event where I've almost lost my voice in like a year or two.
I had a lot of people staring at me. So, if I offended you last night, I'm sorry. And
we're all in it together, right?
And to the old guys that go to basketball games, I'm just going to throw this out. And I might make some people mad saying this. Please don't tell people to sit down in front of you when they're up cheering for their team. Like
on the same team?
They're on the same team. Hey, but I will say that the kid in front of him turned around and called the guy an a-hole. And then by the end of the game, they were high-fiving each other. So, wins bring you back together.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple pictures with you in the background posted by the Illini. You're like the only guy standing. Nothing wrong with that. But, hey, I mean, the ratio of Illini fans to UCLA fans there seemed pretty severe.
It was absolutely insane. There were a lot of Virginia fans, not so many Baylor fans. and not a lot of UCLA fans, but Illinois travels. Holy cow. I thought when I was leaving, I mean, like, it just never stopped. People just kept cheering. Every time somebody come down the escalator, they were cheering. It was unreal. And it was such a good game to watch in person.
Yeah.
So I don't know what were the other numbers for the guys. I know Coleman Hawkins was terrible, but yet everybody said that he was great.
Well, we'll get into that in here in a minute. But I'll say this.
Okay.
You're lucky you didn't have to listen to the announcing. I will say that because Fran Fraschilla, who I went after last year for what he said about Illinois, how if Keegan Murray was healthy, Illinois had no chance to beat Iowa in Iowa. They beat them. And he seemed to not get off the floor. He was on his knees for UCLA for the entire first half into the second half. And he was just
for good
mispronouncing
reason. I mean,
names.
they were spanking Illinois.
Well, to be fair, they were spanking him for like the last 5 minutes of the first half and then first 5 minutes of the second half. But because Illinois just couldn't stop turning the ball over. We'll get into that. But like he was also like he kept saying Dane Danger, like just mispronouncing it. Like it's not like he's saying it in a cool way. He said Jalen Epps one time. Just embarrassing stuff from him. But what can you do?
Good job, Fran.
Yeah, great work. It should have been Bill Walton, but I'm sure he's in Maui, so whatever. Other numbers. I mean, I will say this: if we go talk about UCLA for a minute, I mean, Illinois, Jaime Jaquez shot the ball 22 times. Tiger Campbell shot the ball 27 times, or 23 times. Excuse me.
It is like Tiger, not known for his shooting. He shot the ball pretty well in the first half. If from what I was seeing, matches the numbers.
22 points,
I don't have
no
the
free
numbers,
throws.
guys. I'm going blind at this. So.
22 points, no free throws, and he made 4 threes. Wow. And another guy, David Singleton, kept him in the game. He was 4 for 7 from 3 down the stretch. But like, look at some of their big time freshmen. Like Amari Bailey was, not even. It was like he's not even playing. And Jalen Clark, who was probably the country's best defender through 3 games. Didn't seem to matter that much. I mean, early in the game, he started to make some plays. He only had 1 steal. He had a lot of deflections, but
I honestly didn't even know if he was on the court. So
there was a lot of moments where
seemed like everybody was worried about. Didn't seem to do much.
Steve agrees. The announcer was terrible, kissing UCLA's ass. I mean, everybody knows that. Yeah. Jay says, "Stop letting Hawkins dribble the ball up the court and around the 3-point line like a point guard." I do agree with that. I do agree. And it's like Brad is so blind to the fact that, like, if you listen to his post-game presser, he's talking about, like –
tell me that he just said he loved him.
A lot of what we do goes through Coleman, and it's like,
oh,
dude,
my goodness.
I don't understand.
So he was the only guy that I don't even remember going on the bench first half. I texted you to see how many minutes he played. You said he played 18 minutes in the first half.
35 total.
4 turnovers. And was that all in the first half? I can't remember.
He had 5 turnovers overall. He had 4 from the first half.
4 in the first half, 0 for 1 from the field. So he's scared to shoot the ball, and he can't catch it. That's that. Like, there were so many times where he was cutting, and it's just like, where'd the ball go? Because Coleman can't catch the ball.
That fast break where Shannon whipped it to Hawkins, and he didn't even come close to catching it. That was another one.
And Coleman did something. I think he tried to take a charge. Yep. Underwood pulls RJ out, just starts chewing his ass on the bench, and just Coleman Hawkins is the greatest thing ever. I don't understand it.
There's 2 moments.
It literally makes no sense.
2 moments in the defensive end where I yelled very loudly at Coleman Hawkins. Number 1, Hawkins was fading away in the paint, and Hawkins didn't even really challenge him. He just put his arm up and didn't get into him. Yeah, gave him way too much space. And then that play there where he gets the block on Jalen Clark's attempted dunk, and they get the ball back, and he just stands there trying to take a charge, which I think that should be a no call. If it's because it's not a block. I mean, you could call it a block, which they did. It's not a charge. It should just be a no call. Like Hawkins just standing in the way. I mean, I don't see why they called it. It was barely any contact.
There was another play where I don't know if it was on Coleman, but they doubled for some reason up top. And they just let Tiger take a wide open 3 and that might have been him and RJ.
Was that the one out of a timeout?
On RJ.
Was that out of a timeout? Because I think that was him and Sky.
That's what I thought. And they
no communication. Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah. No.
You can't.
And it's so crazy. Like Coleman Hawkins, all he does is blame everybody else. Like
Yeah.
he literally pointed to the lights one time, like the lights were in his eyes.
Well, that miscommunication, I think Latulip tweeted, you cannot try to switch out of a timeout there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was just a weird. And Underwood said in the postgame they talked about maybe just not switching at all in the second half, but I guess they decided against that. Steve says Coleman will come around, but he stunk last night.
We're
I
waiting.
think the first half he was terrible, but the second half I thought he played pretty well overall, considering how bad he was in the first half.
I mean, and that's they apparently people were saying that he played really good. The lady behind me, I was talking to her a little bit. She said that her dad loves Coleman, and she's like, "Yeah, Dad said Coleman's playing great defense," and I'm like, Hawkins has like 28 points right now. Like he's not playing that good defense.
Yeah, Coleman. I mean, he ends up 5 points, 2 for 3 from the field, 1 for 2 from the line. Gets 5 rebounds, which you'd like to see more than that. Got an offensive rebound. Had 7 assists, which is a very surprising number.
Yeah,
5 turnovers.
Well, that's because every time he cut, he bobbled the ball, so he had to kick it out to somebody else.
Yeah, and he probably got a few assists from Shannon as well. But he had 5 turnovers, 2 blocks, 2 steals. So a lot of stats, not really that impressive. He plays 35 minutes, which him and Shannon were the only players that played over 30 minutes. Jay says, what's up with Melendez? He hasn't impressed me so far. A slow start, and I think that for some reason Brad doesn't trust RJ the same way he trusts Coleman. When it's like, I think you've gotten more efficiency from RJ in 2 years than you have from Coleman in 3. But RJ only plays 18 minutes, made a 3 early, and then it just had a couple plays where you're like, yeah, that's really annoying. But also, I mean, you're not holding everybody to the same standard because you wouldn't take Hawkins out for that, but you take RJ.
And that's what I feel like. I feel like he thinks that RJ is supposed to be like so good, and whenever he messes up a little bit, he gets yanked. And not only does he get yanked, he just gets his butt reamed by seriously. I might or might not have yelled, "Why don't you take your poster boy Coleman out?" instead of yelling at RJ to Underwood. So probably never getting him on the show.
What can you do? I'll say this as well. There's a couple moments there where Underwood was yelling at his assistants to sit down. That was great. I can't remember the one specifically, but like every assistant started yelling and walking towards the where the ref was, and Brad's like yelling at him to sit down. I can't remember what play that was. I think it was was it maybe I can't remember who was trying to lay it up where they thought it was a goaltend, but it wasn't. Shannon, maybe.
Yeah.
It might have been that play.
That wasn't a goaltend, because everybody
it didn't hit the glass first. Yeah. Matthew Meyer. I mean, hey. Euro Joe says, I thought Meyer looked much better after slow start of the season. I agree. I think maybe a couple threes. The green light thing, a couple threes there you want back. I think that's just going to be the thing that he does every game.
Yeah. There were he made his first 2, or did he make one?
He made his first,
miss one, make one.
Yeah, 2 or 3, and he was 2 for 6 overall.
And then one of them, it was like, why are you even shooting that?
There was a fast break where he looked around and then just took the shot.
The one was the heat check, I guess, because he did make his first 2, and I think he heat checked himself once. And then the other one, the thing that kills me is when he does it super early, like in the shot clock. Brad talks about wanting to shoot quick, so I guess I get it, but he is not afraid to shoot. No doubt about that.
4 rebounds, 5 assists, only 1 turnover, 1 steal, played 23 minutes, so tied for Epps for the 4th most minutes in the team.
Well, that's because Brad forgot Sincere Harris was on the bench. I think he literally said that. Did I send that to you?
Yeah.
Did I send it to my friends?
You sent it to me, yeah.
Not that you're not my friend.
Sky Clark, solid game. I mean, he turns the ball over 4 times, but I think a lot of that was, some freshman jitters early. I think that's fair to say, especially when you're supposed to be the primary ball handler.
I thought plays down the stretch, was really good. I mean, overall, 4 turnovers you don't like to see, but just the way that I don't know. You can just tell there's something different about him, He had that step back 3 that he didn't make. But it was really nice way he got space. It's nice to see. He carries himself different. It feels like so. I'm all right with him turning the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, he was
How
1
many
for
points did he end up
4,
with?
10 points, 1 for 4 from 3, hit the 3 to end the game pretty much, had that backwards layup, and had the and 1 as well.
Yeah,
So
the backwards layup. It was funny during the flop where they got a free throw. Him and Terrence Shannon were like arguing over who was going to take the free throw because Terrence Shannon, he struggled from the line.
3 for 7,
Yeah, he started like 1
Sky
of 5.
was 3 for 3.
Yeah, that reverse layup was glorious. Yeah, see, and that's it. Like you can tell he has that skill set that it's just on.
He carries himself like he's been there for a while, I think.
Yes,
and I think that's a really good thing. But also, like, in terms of how the minutes were kind of thrown around by Underwood, kind of interesting. I think not surprising that Epps plays 23 minutes, ends up with 4 points, 1 for 6 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line, had 4 rebounds.
Epps was pretty good defensively.
2 assists.
Offensively, the ball wasn't going in. It seemed like.
Yeah,
but it's not like he forced anything. I felt.
Yeah, there's veteran guards on the other side. It's a tough matchup. I thought him and Clark were good. Dane Danger made some fantastic plays. That little shake off of Bona and then around left hand and 1.
Yeah.
Maybe the best play by an Illinois center in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kofi
probably
he does get happy feet sometimes. He got called for that travel. Everybody in the stadium thought it was an and 1. So that was kind of – but – and then I think there was another one where they showed the replay. It looked like they probably could have called a travel. But, yeah, the way he moves is pretty impressive. I still don't understand why he's dribbling outside so much. But, I guess
I like it better than him.
Take the good with the bad. What did you say? 6 for 6?
6 for 6, yeah. And by the way, Dane Danger is literally – 30 for 35 from the field this season. He's shooting 85%.
And he's the 7th guy.
Yeah. 85%. And he's probably averaging what, like 14 points a game? I don't have the number in front of me because I'm looking at KenPom, but that'll work.
There was one point the lineup was Epps, Sky, Ty Rogers, Coleman, and Danger, I think.
Bizarre lineup.
Weird lineup.
That's your lineup if Shannon and Meyer never come to Illinois.
Yeah. It was very weird.
Yeah, but Dane Danger was great. I meant to say earlier about that flop call. Fran Fraschilla was just like going on and on for like 2 minutes about how he hates that call. And I kind of agree. I don't really think that was really a flop in the sense of how they want to call it. Because Meyer did extend his arm pretty good.
I don't understand the point of it. Like,
if you're trying to trick the official and flopping like so obviously, that's probably when you call it.
But like Illinois got 1 free throw and then UCLA got the ball. So it's like it could be a 1-point possession.
Yeah. It's
like,
kind of
does Illinois not get the ball back on? Like that's what I don't get.
And the way that they call it is inconsistent too. Because it's like,
yeah, I agree.
If you're trying to trick the official and really flop, like so obviously flopping, then yeah. But if it's a bang bang one where you can't really tell in real time if it's a flop or if he actually got like, hit to the ground, I don't think you call those at all.
Yeah. A non-called charge or something. Yeah. It seemed like there were some other plays in the game that probably could have been called flops more than that one.
Yeah.
So
Ty Rogers, 7 minutes, 0 for 1 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 1 steal. 2 fouls. Seems like Brad in the post game kind of just chalked that up to, he got in foul trouble early. And he did have 2 fouls, but also like, I don't see how you take anybody out to put him in there down the stretch.
Sky Clark was on the bench for a long time in that first half. And did I text you and ask if he had 2 fouls?
I couldn't
understand why. Maybe it was the lady next to me. But he comes in. He didn't even have a foul, but I think he sat for like 7-8 minutes.
He ended up with 4 fouls for the game, so I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe he only had 1 or 0 during that time, but
right. Yeah, I just thought it was weird that while UCLA was still going, pretty much seemed like dominating the game, that he was on the bench that long. So
Yeah. Sincere Harris, probably the MVP outside of Shannon in this game, I would say.
Dynamite. I mean, he like literally like dynamite. Like he threw him in, and the game blew up. So, and yeah, what do you have that message? What did Brad say in the post game? He literally it sounded like he just forgot he was on the team, which is very Brad Underwood like.
Let me see here. I don't know if
I don't know what his numbers were, but I mean, the way he came in and Illinois started pressing, it completely changed the game. And I think Coleman got a few steals with that. He fumbled a few out of bounds, I think. So.
Yeah, I can't find it, but I'll say this, I'm sure that's probably the case that Brad did forget that he was on the team. 9 minutes, 2 for 3 from the field, 4 points, 2 steals, and an assist. Yeah, I mean, he's literally a pest on the defensive end.
Yeah, the numbers don't justify how good he was.
And I like Mick Cronin, and I think he's done a great job at UCLA, but man, his answer about Sincere Harris in the post game last night was kind of embarrassing.
What did he say?
He's like, you're asking me about a player who played 9 minutes. He had 4 points. I'm sure he's a great kid.
Really?
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. Which, whatever. I don't know. He was really salty in his post game presser, which he should be. But
I heard he chewed Harris out at halftime. He didn't even play in the first half. How did he chew him out?
Maybe not rooting for his team. I don't know.
Maybe that's when Brad realized he was on the team at halftime. He chewed him. Maybe he thought somebody snuck in the locker room. Like, who's this guy?
Why are you posing as Trent Frazier?
Where's your headband, Trent?
But yeah, I did notice Mick Cronin had a lot of short answers last night and didn't seem to really give Illinois any credit other than him saying Brad's a great coach. So whatever. I'm not going to take too much stock in that. I think the entire UCLA team thought their fans' takeaways, which I didn't even know they had fans if you look at how they traveled last night.
They had like 12, I think.
If that. They seemed really like we should have beaten them. We're so much better than them type vibes after that game, which whatever. That's fine. That's all cute,
At halftime, I heard somebody say that UCLA is the new Nebraska of the Big Ten. So.
Yeah, I don't really want to speculate here, Steve, but maybe you're right. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, could be true.
But hey, Illinois shoots 48% from 3, 12 for 25, 53% from the field, 68% from the free throw line, 3 for 8 in the first half from the free throw line, 10 for 11 in the second half. So they cleaned it up when it mattered. Nice. I think a couple of cause for concerns. If you look at UCLA, 16 offensive rebounds for them. Obviously, Illinois, everybody knows they turned the ball over 21 times, which a lot of that was the first half. A lot of that was just UCLA is really good at getting into passing lanes. I think Virginia is the same way, so be ready for that. But Illinois out-rebounded 39-38, so that was close despite a plus 11 in the offensive rebounding category for UCLA. UCLA shot 37% from the field, 41% from 3. And UCLA 7 for 14 from the line, a very Illinois-like performance at the line for them. So
yeah,
and their freshmen didn't really show up.
No,
you can tell Bona and Bailey are not there yet.
Bona is an aggressive post player too. Like he throws around. He's not scared,
and he'll get caught sleeping on Danger's shoulder. You can see Sincere Harris going at it with Bona in the post there in the mismatch. Yeah. That was great to see right there. But I really wonder how they manage the minutes of if RJ's going to keep losing minutes like this, is Ty Rodgers going to start playing more? Is Sincere going to start? Because I don't think that Sincere Harris is a guy that you could play 20 minutes a game. I really don't. I think he's a guy you could play 10 to 15 and a big spark. That's exactly what you need. So anybody calling for him to play more, I don't think that's the type of player that he is right now.
Yeah, no, I think 10 to 15 because he is all out all the time.
Yeah.
So if you playing for more than that, I feel like he's going to get worn down.
Yeah.
And what you said, Ty Rodgers only had 7 minutes this game.
Yep.
That's surprising.
I don't even know if he played in the second half, and if he did, it was very sparingly.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I think you're right.
But Illinois had 51 points in the second half, after only 9 points in the final 10 minutes of the first half. So that seemed pretty significant. It seemed like Fraschilla said a lot about how great this officiating crew is, which I think is a load of BS, but whatever. I don't think you can really say that about any crew.
The one guy was real bad.
Terrence Shannon had 2 fouls tonight, or 2 fouls last night. So, R.I.P. the streak.
About time he played more aggressive.
I'm
joking. Please don't clip that.
Yep. I'll take the 3-point numbers though over that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Did Shannon have a rebound in the second half? I don't think he had a rebound in the second half. Didn't he have 10 and 10 in the first half?
He might have.
So he ended 29 and 10. I don't think he had a rebound in the second half. That's interesting.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm completely blind. I barely got on Twitter last night to even read anything. So
I might have set the record for most tweets in the podcast account last night.
You did.
And
that video got a lot of likes. You have to keep doing those.
Yeah, I think if you do those and you tag the right people in it, you'll get some numbers. That's what I noticed because I tagged Carl in it from Barstool. He liked it. I tagged Zane Bando in it. He retweeted it. So, did some nice numbers there. I only said 1 cuss word, I think, in that video. That's pretty good. Dropped an F-bomb right off the right away. 712 views in that video. So there you go.
In our podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe we just need to start doing short snippets.
Could be. But I don't know if there's anything else to add about this game. No. Illinois.
Huge win. I mean, we both thought Illinois was going to lose by 7-ish. My brother said he got Illinois at +9 at halftime. So he, won a little money. So
easy
money.
Yeah. Let's see. Maybe not, but I think bench depth mattered and wore them down enough. Yeah, I mean, Illinois went straight up 9 deep in this game, except, Rodgers and Harris didn't play that many minutes.
Yeah.
There was no way Brandon Lee was seeing the floor last night.
Well, that's what I was wondering about Sincere. Like, it really shocked me that he didn't play, and all I could think was, oh man, he forgot him like Pajimski. That's all I could think of. So
I feel like it'd be a lot easier to forget Pajimski than Harris.
I mean, I'm glad that he remembered he was there. Illinois probably would have lost if Brad would have forgot the whole game.
Crypto says UCLA's coach was salty in the postgame interview. He was
salty during the game.
I like Mick Cronin,
the whole time.
Me and his brother are friendly, so I'm not
going to go after him.
What is Mick Cronin?
He's got to be what, 5'4"?
He's a short fellow, yeah. But hey, he made UCLA basketball relevant again, so that matters in the sport. And also,
coming to the Big Ten,
they've got a lot of talent there. But I mean, I would be salty about him, but it's a tough scene when you don't give the other team like any credit. He pretty much said, "I'm the coach of UCLA. That's all I care about. I don't have any positive." Somebody asked him about I don't know if it was Tiger Campbell or Jaime Jaquez about how they had 20 plus points or something. And he said something like, I don't have any positive thoughts or notes of anything involving any UCLA player tonight, including the coach. That's his answer to that. So he was mad, but very interesting game. Is it weird that the championship, quote unquote championship, is first tomorrow?
You win a belt. Yeah, it is weird. That's
kind of weird.
I'm not gonna lie. That's why we waited to fly out Monday morning. Like, we fly out at 6:00 in the morning on Monday, because we were worried that Illinois would be playing in the 2:30 game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got the exact matchup we thought, right? Illinois versus Virginia. We just didn't know that they were going to fight for the belt.
And we were robbed.
You literally win like a wrestling.
I saw it. Yeah, robbed of the Dane Danger Matthew Meyer revenge game. Unfortunately, because Baylor couldn't get it done. But UCLA Baylor is going to be a very, very interesting game tomorrow. I will say. Obviously, hopefully, I'll be watching that while in a good mood. But I don't think I would be in that bad of a mood if they lose to Virginia unless they get destroyed, which that would tick me off. But I guess we shift over to that game. UCLA and Baylor play tomorrow 4:30. Illinois and Virginia play in the quote-unquote championship game at 2 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock in Vegas. I'll just say Vegas time.
Vegas time.
And Illinois 4-0, Virginia 4-0. Illinois comes in ranked number 19. You got to think they're going to move up. Virginia comes in 3-0, ranked 16th. They're going to move up as well. This is on ESPN, so it's on the big channel for once. Shout out, congrats to everybody there that they're getting on ESPN instead of ESPNU, which was terrible last night. But Virginia beat Baylor 86-79 last night. In the first game, like I said, this did rob us of the Dane Danger, Matthew Meyer revenge game against Baylor. Unfortunate. What can you do? Maybe we'll see it down the road in the tournament. You never know. Virginia beat Monmouth 89-42, and they beat NC Central 73-61 in their other two games. Obviously, I believe they had a game canceled because of the incident, the tragedy, I should say, at Virginia. But they've played 3 games instead of 4. So, I think this has the look and feel of Tony Bennett's best team since they won the championship in 19, like by far.
Yeah, we got there at halftime yesterday, and it just seemed like they were the defense that they play is really tough. Baylor tried to press, and Virginia had no problems with it. So it'll be interesting to see if Illinois, doesn't press like they did most of the game until the second half, and Sincere came in. And it didn't seem like Virginia could miss.
Their entire team was Terrence Shannon in that second half.
They literally made everything they put up. So this is going to be a tough game.
It was nice to see an Illinois player being able to make every single three in a different type of arena and, depth perception, but he made everything. So that was kind of cool because I feel like Plummer struggled with that in certain games last season that weren't in a normal home environment. Steve said Underwood knows how to coach against Buckyball. Should be a great game. Yep. I agree. Sure. Yeah, Underwood, hey, he might be the best coach of all time. We don't even know. But like I said, I think this is clearly Tony Bennett's best team since they won it all in 19. They were 23-7 in 2020, no tournament because there wasn't a tournament. 18-7 in 2021. They lost in the first round to their sixth man, Ben Vanderplas and Ohio that year. Then last year they made the NIT third round and lost to St. Bonaventure. They were 21-14 overall. But I'll say this, they want to play. I think UCLA and Virginia are very similar in terms of style. Like they want to slow you down. They have a point guard who's been there for 25 years, and they have other pieces on the outside. The difference is I don't really think they have a Hawkins type player. I think that's a factor here. I think Illinois can defend these guys better than other teams can in certain spots. I think Illinois' defense this season, probably Underwood's strongest defensive team, or eventually will be, because in 2021, the last year with Iowa, they were 7th in efficiency in the country, but there's definitely the versatility and the pieces defensively to be really, really good. MJ says, not sure if you mentioned this already, but the fans I think will be a huge advantage tomorrow. Not as big of an advantage against UCLA because it seems like there's a lot of Virginia fans there.
Yeah, there were a lot of Virginia fans, and it's interesting because the Virginia fans are right next to the Illinois fans. Of course, the Illinois fans are everywhere, but Virginia is literally like here, and Illinois is here.
Yeah.
But there also, from the people I've talked to, there's a lot of people that aren't staying for the game tomorrow too. So it'll be interesting how many actually stay.
Clowns, they should all stay.
Yeah, people got to work Monday or something.
Please, it doesn't exist anymore.
So
what is this, 1995?
But it was actually crazy how many Illinois fans were here.
It reflected well on our national standing, I think.
Yeah,
a lot of people talking about it. Most underrated fan base. A lot of people saying.
And I think Brad said something like it was like a home game for them. It felt like a home game. And that this is the reason why this is the best job in the country, or one of them. Yep. I think he added at the end of it.
He did. Terrence Shannon Jr. did say he was on the field of 68 for a few minutes last night after the game. He said Texas Tech and Illinois, 2 best fan bases in the country. So I don't know if Meyer has anything to say about that.
I have seen some Texas Tech fans here.
they're rooting for him. Bennett's father started system at Wisconsin. Wisconsin still runs the same system as Virginia. Yeah, and the only time I could have put the pieces together on that if I was really thinking, but obviously I forgot because I always wanted Tony Bennett at Illinois.
Yeah,
that ship has sailed anyway. But Underwood's only struggles against Wisconsin teams are when he just has a huge lack of talent. Like they've beaten Wisconsin since they've had the pieces. Like the year before that, when Ethan Happ was still there, they struggled against him. But lately, it's been different. And Virginia obviously has better personnel than Wisconsin's had last few years. But there's some familiar faces on this Virginia team. At least one or two of them for Illinois. They've played in the recent present. Nailed it. Point guard Kie Clark, 5'11", very very much like Tiger Campbell. The difference is that Kie Clark's won a national championship. It's his 30th year at Virginia. 30th year at Virginia. Yeah, I wrote 30th in parentheses. I was thinking about what number to go with. I was like, I'll go 30. Reese Beekman is their 6'3" guard, 10 points, 10 assists against Baylor. Armand Franklin, who transferred from Indiana the year before, he had 26 points against Baylor last night, and he was lights out. 3 for 6 from 3, 4 for 6 from 2. So that's 7 for 12 from the field, 26 points. He was the MVP according to Ken Baum in their game last night. And they have Jaden Gardner at the 4, 6'6". Real slow start to the season for him. I think Vanderplas is kind of taking some of his minutes away. Yeah. He played 20 minutes in the first game, 17 minutes in the second game, and 16 minutes last night. He was playing 30-plus minutes all season last year. So I think Vanderplas is playing a bit of a role in that. And this is a pretty small lineup. Like they have a legit center with Caden Shedrick, who's 6'11", at 17 points, 6 for 6 from the field against Baylor. But 5'11", 6'3", 6'5", 6'6". Illinois can match that size all day.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see Meyer against Gardner early in the game.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. I hope that there's more, because you got to think that Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to have an off night one day, someday, maybe. I don't know. But I'm hoping that there's more, Coleman Hawkins does more than 5.7 turnovers or whatever.
And you'd like to see some consistency from RJ Melendez get him going. Like have him get to the rim a couple times maybe. Yeah. Because he seems to just think that he's like a 3-point shooter now, which I mean he can make them, but it's like I don't know. And this is like Underwood's. Like
I did feel like he did try to go to the hole a few times last night, more than he has been.
And this is Underwood's fastest.
He wasn't good when he did it, but he did do it.
This is very much like Underwood back at Oklahoma State with his offense, like how fast they're running, and you could say Stephen F. Austin as well. Even though Stephen F. Austin teams were more methodical, they weren't really running the floor. But this is what Brad Underwood wants to be. Like they're 26th in tempo right now.
Right.
They were 179th last season, 79th the year before that, 288th in 2020. So, I mean, like early in Underwood's years at Illinois, they were running the floor more, but that's because they were a terrible roster with nobody, and they were just trying to have some fun out there. And because they were 52nd in tempo when they went 12-21 in 2019, which that team had some big wins. I mean, if you remember 2019 Illini, they had some nice wins. For example, they beat Minnesota, who wasn't that bad that season. They beat Maryland, which is shocking. They beat Michigan State that year. They had some fun wins. It was a good time. But that was the last year of suck for Underwood at Illinois to this point. But like I said, I think Vanderplas is playing a role in taking minutes. He had 24 minutes last night. They don't go very deep with the bench. They played, I want to say, pretty much 7 guys last night, but really only 6 because Isaac McNeely had 11 minutes, Ryan Dunn had 7 minutes, and Francisco Cafaro, who's 7'1" senior, had 6 minutes. So they don't play very deep in their bench. They kind of rely on that front 4 of the 5 in the lineup. At least they did last night, 30-plus minutes from Clark, Beekman, Franklin, and Shedrick. So, yeah, I think Illinois can totally match up to them athletically, no doubt about it. I think the big factor is going to be how Virginia defends. Illinois needs to take care of the ball a little bit better because you can't really cover up your mistakes with turnovers every game.
Right.
Like you can't outshoot those mistakes every game.
And Virginia's going to take advantage of it too. So
I do think Illinois would be more successful pressing than Baylor was if they try it. I think they can.
Yeah. Yeah. It just seemed very easy for Virginia to get the ball up the court.
I don't think Baylor
I'm
has
not
the
saying that-
same length that Illinois does.
That's true. It's very true. Yeah, it'll just be interesting. Like it really surprised me that, this is what Brad's been hammering it in, and it seemed like, high major competition, and his whole game plan changed. And then he kind of reverted back in the second half. But it just seemed weird to me that he dropped back in a half court, man defense instead of pressing like he has been. So we'll see what he comes out with against Virginia, which Virginia is a very good team. I don't know if they'll shoot the ball as well as they did against Baylor, but I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping that Illinois' length can disrupt some of that.
Yeah, that'll be a big factor. Ken Palm numbers, Illinois 32nd in adjusted offense, Virginia's 4th, Illinois 16th in adjusted defense, Virginia 12th. And then tempo, like I said, there's a huge gap here. Illinois is 25th in adjusted tempo, Virginia is 363. So pretty big gap.
Yeah.
All right, players to watch from each team.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Coleman Hawkins again. I went with him for the UCLA game. I watched him not do a whole lot. So I'm gonna watch him again. I'm gonna see. I would like to see Coleman like a 10-10 guy, a 15-10 guy. I feel like he can be if he doesn't overcomplicate things. So, and then I am going with Kie Clark for Virginia. Like you said, he's been there 30 years. He's going to be the key to if Illinois' press is any good or not, if Illinois decides to press.
If Sincere can take him out of the game like he took Tiger out of the game, I think that bodes well.
That's kind of what I'm hoping to see. So those are my two guys.
I'm going to go with Matthew Meyer for Illinois. I think if he can continue to make some big shots, do those glue guy, little things type plays. And then I'm going to go with pretty much his counterpart, the other white guy.
I was going to say, you picked the same guy.
Ben Vanderplas. Pretty much Illinois had a little circle there of Nance, Meyer, and Vanderplas, and they get Meyer out of it. And Vanderplas got the nice mustache going right now. Played well against Illinois a few years ago when Ohio almost beat Illinois in 2020-21. So that was the bubble year for the tournament. Yep. We'll see. I think he was a much better fit at Virginia than he would be at Illinois. But also, I would totally take him right now if they didn't get Meyer. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. And Brad did mention when he was talking about Virginia last night, he said something like Vanderplas is there. We know him. We tried to recruit him. We played against him, blah, blah, blah. And Armand Franklin was at Indiana. But other than that, I don't know much about him. It's pretty much what he said. So hopefully he spent time today not wasting his time watching Illinois football crumble. I hope he was game planning. Which, if anybody in the comments wants to get anything out they want to say about the football team and that effing head coach, go ahead. We will listen. If you have any comments on that or the basketball comments, go ahead. We got like 15 viewers somehow right now. So
Illini Guardians was doing a watch party at the Aria, I believe, and the Illinois players are supposed to be there at halftime. I did not go because that's 9:00 in the morning Vegas time, and we got to the room about 3:30. So
you went a little too hard. Nothing wrong with that.
We just celebrate a victory,
I got to my room at 3:00 in the morning last night as well, but that would have been 1:00 where you're at.
Yes, exactly.
But I was just watching YouTube videos and hanging out. That's what I was doing.
That's all we were doing too.
Yeah, exactly. Predictions. I'm going with a little bit of a negative prediction, I guess, but I need you to stay positive. So that's why
I'm going to be positive. I got Illinois winning this. I picked Illinois to lose in Vegas when we first did our first thing. I'm going with win-win now, guys. I told you, switch it up a little bit, and then we're going to go 17-3 and win 17 in a row in the Big Ten. So
I can see it.
Illinois 72, Virginia 66. I think Illinois' length. And if Brad remembers Sincere's on the bench, and if they press the ball, they have a good chance to win this game. So I'm going to go Illinois 72. Virginia 66. I would like to see a line on this. I don't know if you have one.
Ooh, I bet I can find one.
I would
say it's like 3.5
in Illinois' favor.
I don't know. Maybe
I
2.5.
Oh, look at me. Steve says Illini by 10. I like it.
Yeah, I'm going to go Virginia 73-69. And honestly, there's literally no shame in a split in Vegas. None at all.
I agree.
You beat UCLA. It's good. And like that game last night, they said it on the broadcast, had the feeling of a regional final. Haymakers being thrown back and forth for a little bit, and then Illinois obviously turned it on at the end.
Mackie Benson says Illinois by 5 in overtime. I'd take some free basketball. I'm in.
I have it at nope, that's football. Why can't I find the basketball odds? It has to be like similar to the UCLA spread that when it opened at like the 2.5.
Yeah. MJ says Illinois 62, Virginia 60. A lot of Illinois fans, very positive. I like it.
I mean, if you want the Ken Palm line, it's Virginia -4. But that's just like, it was UCLA minus like 9. So, I mean, that's just the metrics telling you what's what. But I would guess I would say Virginia's probably the favorite, but it's got to be like 1.5, 2.5, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's got to be close.
But I'm going to say Virginia wins by 4. Just, Virginia's a really good team. Illinois coming out of Vegas with a split would be perfectly fine.
You're just trying to temper everybody's expectations.
Yeah, we got to calm down. I just don't. MJ says Illinois 62-60. I don't know if you already got that. Okay.
You're good, though.
I don't want Coleman Hawkins standing on the 3-point line going like this right through the ball. I can't watch that every game. I really can't. And I hope he doesn't see the tweets because I went after him a little hard last night.
Oh, did you?
I wasn't that hard, but there were some moments where I was like, I think I quoted, like, if you make a mistake, you're out of the game. Okay, Brad, why is Hawkins still in the game then? I said that once on Twitter.
Exactly. Hey, I am 1,000,000% with you on that one.
But I don't want
Hawkins played 18 minutes with 4 turnovers, but yet if you make a mistake, you're getting pulled. I don't know. Was Hawkins that good on defense?
I didn't notice as much as other people were saying, but there are definitely reasons. I don't know. I think he's a good defender, and I think he was good in the second half. But I don't people act like he's the next coming defensively. Like, oh my god, defensive player of the year. Like, come on, please.
I don't know about that, but
let me see if I can find any of my.
At least Coleman's not going out there and saying that they're going to beat a team by 20, and then they get beat by 25. Like Hunter Dickinson. Good work, buddy.
That's true. He's got to own that. That's why you don't.
MJ says his defense was solid. I guess I just didn't notice.
I heard that his defense was like Michael Jordan.
Crypto Shock 217 says Illinois by 6. You guys really high on this Illinois team.
I tweeted.
I picked them to win, so I can't say anything.
True. Let me find some of my interesting tweets from last night, just so we can relive this a little bit. Okay. I said I see a lot of orange. I don't think that was Virginia orange either. That's good. I said the threes are going in! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! I think that was when they made the first couple when Meyer and Melendez made them. I think. So when I said that, I said way too much carelessness with the basketball in parentheses Hawkins and RJ because they had like 5 turnovers right away.
Yeah.
Hawkins' offense is so bad.
That MJ said he's not forcing. Yeah, he's not forcing shots, but he's still not good offensively. He has a lot of he can't catch that. He reminds me of Kofi cutting the hole last year. Drives me nuts.
An evergreen Illinois basketball tweet. This was at 9:25 Central. I tweeted, "Gotta make free throws." Probably when Shannon was like 2 for 6.
Yeah, he's struggled.
Illini Fan Nation tweeted, "Really want and need to see Coleman Hawkins step up." I said it ain't happening. Then I put, this is one I was talking about, quote, "If they make a mistake, they go to the bench." And then I put a space in between that. And I said, "Okay, Brad, how about your boy," and all caps, Coleman, all caps, Hawkins, who has made 143 mistakes in the first half, ? Thoughts? So I threw that one out there. Whenever Hawkins tried to take a charge, I said, I can't watch this shit from him. And then I said, what a shitty way to end the first half. So disappointed to be down by 9.
This was on your personal account, right?
Hell no. I would lose all my followers if I did that on my. I'm not gonna flood everybody. I'm just gonna use our account, obviously.
Great.
I tweeted, this is just being a fan. I mean, this is normal. I don't want to button everything up, and we're not a professional at all.
My brother-in-law sent me a picture. He apparently saw me on TV, and I was like this, I guess, or something. I wasn't cheering, and he goes, "Need a little bit more energy out of you, Tyler." And then I sent him the pictures that were on Facebook, not knowing that he already sent them.
Is that good enough for you?
And I said, "Don't ever question my fandom."
Yeah, if I were to know what shirt you were wearing, I would have been looking for you in the crowd. I know you were on the Pizza Hut one. I tweeted "Take Hawkins out!" ! I don't know when that was. Also tweeted Fran Fraschilla is a terrible announcer. Hawkins with a sick rebound. I tweeted. I don't remember what that was. I think he was just standing around instead of rebounding, which we always see. But then there was a lot of Terrence Shannon Jr. stuff.
No, I know exactly what that was. That the ball came off this way, and Hawkins is standing on the other side of the hoop, and he doesn't even move. Like literally, the guy from UCLA just kind of like walks in front of him and grabs the ball, and he didn't even come to the basket.
Wasn't there a miscommunication moment where Hawkins like jumped over Shannon or Meyer and like they both had the rebound and it went out of bounds? That definitely happened too.
MJ, we're in section 11, row 8.
And then just the Terrence Shannon Jr. for like just a bunch of tweets like, oh my God, how are these all going in? It was unbelievable. But
he was
big win. I did. If you want to hear a little bit of a little teaser at the beginning of my video. I was calling an Illinois game. I did a video talking about the bullshit he said pregame Iowa game. 2 cuss words, sorry. He does another game tonight. I mean, I like Mick Cronin a lot. Speak. I don't have any issues with UCLA. But he's got to get off his knees when it comes to talking about UCLA. Bottom line, what a fucking
beep.
Sorry. Beep. Excuse me. 2 cuss words, sorry. But it was a good win. It was a good time.
Controller battery died for a second.
Seems to happen a lot.
That's what it looked like.
Seems to happen a lot. You'd like to see Brad maybe flip out on him once, and it just doesn't seem to happen. I don't know. I don't think that there's anything they're going to do differently because it sure sounds to me like Brad still feels the exact same way about him as he has all season and his entire career at Illinois.
I thought this wasn't an hour-long podcast like you said.
It's almost there, but we're pretty much wrapping it up.
Guys, I really am in Las Vegas. I don't know if you can see. But...
Yeah, you're in Diverne and Illinois.
The high roller. This is actually the view that Vegas is. It is nothing but empty fields. So, anyways,
it's a good place. All right.
Don't come find me either. You never will.
Damn shame on the football team, but the basketball team picking up the slack. I mean, the football team
could have been a great weekend for Illinois.
Yeah,
right?
It really could have been.
Wins. Illinois was like an 18-point dog in that game. Yeah, so I think a 2-point loss is actually pretty good.
And they had a 7-point lead with a chance to make it even more in the fourth quarter. So, what can you do? The Big Ten's not going to let a team that has a chance to make the playoff and then ruin the Ohio State-Michigan game next week. They're not going to let that happen.
Absolutely.
Unless it was a blowout, which it was never going to be. But anyway, Illinois, Virginia tomorrow, ESPN, 2 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Vegas time. You forgot the cards.
After that? I forgot the cards.
Thoughts on forgetting the cards?
I am so upset. Like, I would have just been throwing them out over the side of the banister as people were walking out last night. And
I think we really could have expanded, but that's all right. I mean,
we could have expanded so much.
I mean, we have 15 viewers right now. We've been up in that range the whole time. That's pretty good. But Illinois will play tomorrow in Vegas, wrap it up with Virginia. Then after that, they play Friday, Black Friday, 8 o'clock on Big Ten Plus against Lindenwood, which I'm thinking, I don't know what you're doing for that game, but Big Ten Plus.
It's my dad's birthday.
Jeez. So, Big Ten Plus.
I mean, it's not actually his birthday, but we're celebrating his birthday. So.
And it's on Big Ten Plus, so have fun with that. But I'm thinking we could probably try to do a watch party for the Syracuse game if we can make that work.
Yeah.
Which is the Tuesday after, and I think it's a 6. It's a 6 or 6:30 game, so that's good.
Oh, thank goodness.
But then, of course, they play 8 o'clock against Maryland after that, and then I'm thinking. I don't know if you want to do a watch party for a big game, but they got Texas. We'll maybe consider that. But we'll see. We'll see. So Vegas tomorrow, Illinois, Virginia, and we'll see you probably middle of next week for episode 125 to discuss the Virginia game.
Tuesday or Wednesday. Sounds good.
Get ready for a powerhouse opponent in Lindenwood, and we'll talk to you next time. Illinois better win tomorrow in Vegas. Okay, bye.